My name is Emily Carter, and if you step into my boutique on Fifth Avenue today, you'll find rows of gowns shimmering like they've been stitched from light itself. Satin, lace, silk. Fabrics that whisper confidence and elegance. Brides come here to find their dream dresses, the kind that make their hearts race the way mine once did. I stand near the front window, running my fingers across the soft fold of a champagne-colored gown. The glass reflects my face, steady, polished, framed by a silk blouse in the palest shade of ivory. From outside, the city hums, but in here, everything feels quiet, curated, mine. Then my phone buzzes on the counter. A new booking. The name on the screen makes my breath catch, just for a second. Madison Hayes. My cousin. The same cousin who once stole the most important dress of my life, my wedding dress. For a moment, it feels like the air thickens around me, pressing against my chest. I thought I buried that chapter years ago, hidden beneath my rise, my success, my silence. Yet here she is, walking straight back into my story. I let out a small laugh, though it doesn't quite reach my eyes. Of all the boutiques in New York City, she chose mine. Fate has a strange sense of humor. As I confirm her appointment, my mind drifts back to the girl I used to be, and the day everything changed. I was 23 when I got engaged to Ryan. He wasn't perfect, but at the time, he felt like the beginning of the life I had always dreamed of: a little house, a backyard with white roses, maybe children someday. The centerpiece of it all, though, was my wedding dress. I still remember the way I felt when I first tried it on. Ivory lace, a delicate sweetheart neckline, and a flowing skirt that shimmered softly under the bridal shop's lights. I had saved for months, working double shifts at a cafe just to afford it. When I stood in front of the mirror, tears blurred my reflection. For the first time, I felt like I could see the future version of me, someone beautiful, secure, chosen. And then, just 2 weeks before my wedding, the unimaginable happened. It was my cousin Madison. She and I had grown up together, practically inseparable. She was the one who used to braid my hair at sleepovers, the one who borrowed my sweaters and never returned them. But I never thought she'd borrow something I could never replace. The day I went to pick up my gown, the boutique owner told me, hesitantly, that my cousin had already taken it. She said Madison had insisted she was there on my behalf. I remember my hands shaking as I tried to process her words. My dress. My dream.
Gone.
I rushed home, my heart pounding, only to find Madison posting pictures online, wearing the gown. My gown. Smiling like it was hers all along. When I confronted her, her words cut deeper than the betrayal itself. Relax, Emily. It's just a dress. You can find another one. Besides, it looks better on me anyway. Her laughter echoed in my ears as my chest tightened. I felt small, dismissed, like I was invisible in my own story. And worse, my parents told me not to create drama. They said family was more important than a piece of fabric. That night, I cried until I couldn't breathe. My pillow was damp, my hands trembling as I clutched a small brooch my grandmother had given me, a silver pin shaped like a rose. Her words replayed in my memory. A dress doesn't make the woman, Emily. What you build with your own hands will outlast lace and silk. By morning, I knew what I had to do. I couldn't count on Madison. I couldn't count on my family. I would have to count on myself. In the weeks after the wedding collapsed, my life felt like a blank page, empty, terrifying, but also strangely full of possibility. Ryan moved on. Madison flaunted her little victory, and my parents avoided the subject like it had never happened. For a while, I floated through days in a haze, numb and directionless. But grief has a way of burning itself out, leaving something sharper behind. Determination. I still had my grandmother's brooch, that silver rose pin, and the memory of her voice. What you build with your own hands will outlast lace and silk. I pinned it to my coat the day I walked into Mrs. Eleanor Briggs's boutique, a small bridal shop tucked on the corner of Lexington Avenue. Eleanor was in her 60s, sharp-eyed and brisk, the kind of woman who could spot a crooked hem from across the room. I had applied for a sales job, but when she asked me why I wanted to work there, the words tumbled out before I could stop them. Because dresses changed my life. Or maybe ruined it. Either way, I want to learn how to make them matter again. Instead of laughing, she studied me for a long moment. Then she said, "You've got fire, girl. Let's see if you can sew." That was the beginning. The work was grueling. I pricked my fingers on pins until they were dotted with tiny red marks. I stayed late, learning how to stitch invisible seams, how to choose fabrics that breathed life into a woman's posture, how to listen, truly listen, to brides who carried stories in their voices. There were nights when I wanted to quit, when the self-doubt whispered, "You're not cut out for this, Emily. You're the girl who lost her wedding dress, remember?" But then I'd touch the brooch pinned to my apron, and I'd push through one more hour, one more gown. Slowly, the wins began to come. My first sale, a nervous bride who left the shop hugging me after I found her the dress of her dreams. My first custom alteration that fits so perfectly, Eleanor patted my shoulder and said, "Not bad, Carter. Not bad at all." Years passed, and with them came growth. I saved every dollar, sketched designs in notebooks by lamplight, and learned not just fashion but business. When Eleanor decided to retire, she called me into her office. "I could sell this place to strangers," she said, sliding a set of keys across her desk, "but I'd rather see it in hands that care. Consider it yours, Emily. You'll pay me back in time." I cried that night, tears of gratitude, of vindication. For the first time, I felt like I wasn't just surviving. I was building. Word spread. My boutique became a quiet success. Brides came for gowns that felt like more than fabric, gowns that told their stories. I posted modest updates online, never boasting, never inviting family into my world. Let them think I was just working in fashion. The truth was bigger. I wasn't just working in fashion. I owned it. The morning of Madison's appointment, the boutique gleamed as if it knew what was about to unfold. Sunlight spilled through the tall windows, catching the crystals on the chandeliers and scattering little rainbows across the floor. My team was already bustling, steaming gowns, arranging veils, polishing the mirrors until they shone like glassy lakes. But inside me, a storm brewed. My heart beat steadily, not with fear, but with anticipation. After all these years, Madison was about to walk into my world. At precisely 11 o'clock, the glass doors swung open. She swept in, all glossy hair and designer heels, trailing a cloud of expensive perfume. For a moment, she didn't see me. She was too busy flipping her hair and talking loudly to the friend on her arm, the same way she always had, performing, as if the world were her stage. "Wow, this place is gorgeous," she said, her voice carrying. "I heard the owner is some kind of rising star. Can't wait to see if she actually knows what she's doing." I stood a few steps away, arms folded loosely, a polite smile tugging at my lips. My staff greeted her warmly and offered champagne, just as they did for every bride. Madison laughed, settling into one of the velvet chairs, her eyes sweeping the racks of gowns as though they belonged to her already. It was surreal, watching her here, in the empire I had built from the ashes she left me in. When her gaze finally landed on me, her expression flickered with surprise. "Emily? Oh my God, you work here?" The words sliced through the air like the sharp edge of old memory. "You work here. Not you run this place. Not you own it." Just a dismissal, the way she had dismissed me years ago. I stepped forward slowly, heels clicking against the marble floor. "I don't just work here, Madison." I let the pause hang, long enough for her curiosity to sharpen into unease. "I own it." For a moment, silence stretched between us, thick and heavy. Her friend's glass froze halfway to her lips. Madison blinked, her mouth parting, then snapping shut again. "You own this place?" she stammered, her bravado cracking. "Yes." I let the words settle. "Every chandelier, every gown, every stitch you see. It's mine. Built from nothing, from nights you never saw, from pain you caused that I turned into something greater." Her face paled, and I could see her memory catching up. The dress she stole, the humiliation she left me in. She opened her mouth, but no words came. I gestured around us, calm and deliberate. Brides come here to feel like they matter, to feel seen, to find something that reflects who they are inside. That's what this place is about. My eyes locked on hers, not taking what isn't yours. The silence in the boutique was absolute. Even my staff lingered nearby, pretending to adjust veils, but unable to look away. Madison shifted in her chair, her confidence melting. Emily, I didn't know. I didn't realize you'd become this. I tilted my head, studying her, not with malice but with a strange, detached clarity. No, you didn't know. Because you never looked past yourself. The weight of the truth pressed on her, and for once, Madison Hayes, the girl who took everything without consequence, had no script, no audience applause. And in that moment, I felt it, the power shift. I wasn't the broken cousin anymore. I wasn't the girl crying over a stolen dress. I was Emily Carter, owner of the boutique where Madison now came to shop. Madison cleared her throat, shifting uncomfortably in the velvet chair. For the first time, I noticed how small she looked without the shield of arrogance she always wore. Emily, look, I know things weren't great between us back then, she began, her voice shaky. But maybe we could just move past it? I mean, you've clearly done well for yourself. She forced a laugh, though it cracked halfway. Maybe you can even help me out. I need a dress that really wows. There it was, the old Madison trying to gloss over the past, trying to rewrite history with charm. I walked closer, my heels clicking softly on the marble floor until I stood right in front of her. My tone stayed calm, steady. Help you out? I repeated. You mean the way you helped me out when you stole the most important dress of my life? Her eyes dropped to the floor. I took a slow breath, steadying my emotions. This wasn't about revenge, not anymore. This was about reclaiming my voice. I don't run this boutique to hand out dresses to people who trample others, I said. If you want to shop here, Madison, you can. But there are conditions. Her head snapped up, eyes wide. Conditions? Yes. I folded my arms lightly, not as defense, but as strength. First, you'll treat my staff with respect. No entitlement, no condescension. These women work harder than you'll ever know. She swallowed hard, nodding. Second, you'll pay full price. No discounts, no favors. Not a penny less. Her lips parted, as if she wanted to protest, but the steel in my gaze silenced her. And third, I continued, my voice softening just a fraction. You'll acknowledge what you did. Not just to me, but to yourself. You took something precious from me, and instead of apologizing, you laughed. That wound shaped me, but it also built me. If you want a dress here, Madison, you'll start by saying the words you've avoided for years. The silence was thick. Her friend shifted uncomfortably, glancing between us. Madison's face flushed, pride and shame warring in her expression. For a moment, I thought she'd storm out, the Madison I used to know would have. But instead, she lowered her eyes and whispered, I'm sorry, Emily. I was cruel. I shouldn't have taken your dress. I shouldn't have hurt you like that. The words weren't perfect, but they were real. And for the first time, I felt a piece of that old weight lift off my chest. I gave a small nod. That's a start. She looked up at me, tears brimming at the corners of her eyes. For once, I didn't feel bitterness. Just clarity. I'm not here to punish you, I said gently. But I won't let the past repeat itself either. If you want a gown from my boutique, you'll earn it the same way every other bride does, with honesty, respect, and grace. She nodded, silent now, the arrogance stripped away. In that moment, I realized the true power wasn't in denying her address. It was in setting the terms, my terms, and watching her accept them. The boutique slowly returned to its rhythm. My staff resumed adjusting gowns, brides-to-be sipped champagne in the fitting rooms, and the hum of soft music floated through the air. But something inside me had shifted. Madison left later that afternoon with a quiet demeanor I had never seen in her before. She didn't slam doors, didn't toss her hair, didn't make herself the center of the room. Instead, she carried herself out with the weight of reflection on her shoulders. In the weeks that followed, I heard from relatives that she had started changing. Small things at first, apologizing when she never would have before, treating people with kindness she used to dismiss as weakness. Maybe she would never fully undo what she had done, but perhaps she was learning. And me? I found peace in a way I hadn't expected. Some evenings, when the boutique was quiet and the city lights glittered outside, I would sit at my desk and hold my grandmother's silver rose brooch. Its edges had dulled with time, but its meaning hadn't. She was right. A dress didn't make the woman. Strength did. Persistence did. The courage to rebuild when everything had been taken away. That's what defined me. I often thought back to the girl who had cried into her pillow, broken over a stolen gown. If only she could see me now, sitting in a boutique I owned, surrounded by gowns that carried stories of love, hope, and new beginnings. The irony wasn't lost on me. Madison once took the dress I thought defined my future. But in doing so, she pushed me toward building a life far greater than I ever imagined. Now, brides step through my door searching for their dreams. And sometimes I smile, because I know I've already found mine. I pinned the brooch to my blouse one quiet evening, staring at my reflection in the glass window of the boutique. My voice, steady and sure, filled the silence as if I were narrating the very story of my life. She may have taken my wedding dress once, but now I own the boutique where she shops. And that is the perfect fit.